Hello and welcome to the Nerd in Motion podcast. I'm John. I'm the Nerd in Motion. You can't see me behind all this gear, but we want it to sound the best it can be. And today I've got an epic guest, my friend Jason from Prisoners No Longer Accepted. And I think he's a modern day Robin Hood. He's fighting...
talking about Willis.
He's fighting for something that me personally, I really dislike, which is ULEZ. Really, I mean, I really dislike it. So before we get into all of that, because I know that at this point some of you who love EVs and love the green agenda and all that beautiful stuff that you find your security in, going to turn off. So that's fine. You go and turn off now. I know you. If your feelings are hurt, I just don't care. So, Jason, first of all, I want to know, how did you start YouTube? Tell us about your channel and like where it all came from. Because, like me, I think your channel started as something and changed.
Wow. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Do you know, first of all, I've got to say, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Being John's studio.
Shed.
See where he's operating from. Bearing in mind, I'm stuck in a little corner in my front room if I've got to do these types of videos, but right, Prisoners No Longer Accepted came from me making a camper van. It's as simple as that. I made a camper van from an ex-prison transporter. That's a 6.5 ton prison transporter, but before that I had built, on the very first original lockdown, I built a Citroen Relay from an ex-work van.
That's mad.
Turned it into a camper van.
Wow.
I put... so forget the value of the van, but I put back like 10 grand into that van building it, and it was parked on the side of our road, never been used. And then a drunk driver wrote it off.
Oh.
And then a few days later, I got a cab. Cost me about 100 quid for the cab, however far it was away, I can't remember. And I didn't even tell my wife about it. I went and bought this prison van.
Oh my word! See now,
That's how it happened.
My missus, she'll quite happily put up with me buying some vehicles. I don't know how she would feel about me buying a prison van. I just want the viewers, I'm just going to interject here, and he's going to tell the rest of the story, but you've come in the Beast today, and I forgot how big it was. It's absolutely massive. It's huge. And I think that's probably bigger than like most camper vans.
It's close to 8 foot wide. People forget that. So you have to use a truck sat nav, put the width and the height and all the rest of it. I've made it higher because of the stuff that's on the roof and the
epic light bar.
Oh, I love my light bar, man. Honestly, when you got people coming towards you and the headlights are on, you go, boom.
When I saw you, I thought I was getting a
52-inch light bar. It's like, right, who's playing at home today?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah. It's so that's it, John.
So you bought the prison van, and then you converted it into a camper.
Yeah.
So did you take people on the journey with that process on your channel?
I had no intentions of starting a YouTube channel, but I wanted to start videoing because of my background in design and stuff, I
Yeah.
wanted to start showcasing what I'm now going to do, like I have done to many other vehicles in the past. I wanted to showcase what I'm now going to do with this prison van, but it's slightly unusual. So I don't know. I honestly cannot remember how I came up with a name, but I just went prisoners no longer accepted. Ex-prison van, prisoners no longer accepted. That's it. And that's how the channel was born. And I spent 18 months, close to 2 years, don't quote me on that, building the channel. And I made some friends in that time. One of them was Derek. And the sheer mention of saying Derek wants to make me shed tears, because Derek was an inaugural part of the channel. This old guy that used to walk past me, watching me build the van on a daily basis. He used to walk by, and I used to watch this old guy walk up the road, walk back down, walk back up, until he eventually went, "You all right, son?
Oh.
You all right, boy? You all right, boy? How you doing, boy?" Right, and before I knew it, he is one of the main parts of my channel. Hence, my van is called Van Derek.
Van Derek. Do you know, the funny bit is there's a guy I watch called Cletus McFarlane over in America, and he has an old Crown Vic police car, and it's called Neighbour, and it's one of the cars, not the only car, but one of the cars that made him super famous. He bought this old police car from an auction and converted it into like an absolute beast of a driftmobile. And his neighbour, same thing, came over, started to get involved with what he was doing, and absolutely just loved it. And I used to watch right back then, and that car is still called Neighbour, and everybody knows it as Neighbour.
Still about.
Because of that guy. And in fact, that car got written off. He did a massive drift and hit a wall with it. And because the car is so sentimental, and the fans were like, whatever it costs, we'll put it back together. So they cut the back of another one off and they welded it on. That car is going to be like 50 years from now. That car, you'll see it literally going through
Otherwise
Barrett.
known as a cut and shut.
Yeah, but it'll go through Barrett Jackson, known as Neighbour. You know, that car is super famous. So I totally understand how these people come along, like Derek, and they become so special. And your subscribers,
He was special.
Yeah, and I bet your subscribers loved him.
John, they loved him. The channel was born from, and I got to maybe 6,000 subscribers, 7,000 subscribers from myself and Derek arguing.
Yeah, I love it.
Right, honestly, right now, I get a lot of people watching the latest videos, but they don't actually go back and look at what the earlier videos were all about. And honestly, Derek, he is, as any of my subscribers would say, he is a legend.
Yeah.
To them, to me, is, I've named my van after him. I don't name vehicles.
No.
But to me, in my sat nav, like, you can name up to 3 vehicles unless you want to pay for this, that, and the other.
Yeah, as always.
But it's Van Derek.
Van Derek.
Love it. Right, because Derek was the inaugural part of my. It breaks my heart knowing that he's not here, setting me straight anymore.
Oh,
what he would say about all this ULEZ shit. Crap, rubbish. Am I allowed to say that?
You can swear on here. I mean, YouTube doesn't like it. I don't. I try not to swear. But if you want to swear, I'm not going to stop you because it's not. It's not about.
I'm going to try not to.
It's all right. Don't worry. You don't have to.
To.
It's totally up to you. So you've done you do the camper stuff. You've done some reviews, product reviews, and you do product reviews. And then what triggered the sudden change of direction into what's going on with ULEZ?
So I've built my van.
Yeah,
I would have built my previous van, would have been uncompliant as well.
yeah.
And like I say, the previous van was a 20. Do you know what? I'm going to be brutally honest, my friend. I can't remember whether it was 2012, 2014, 2016.
Yeah,
it was an old work van of mine.
Yeah.
I say old. It was just at the end of its 3-year lease.
Yeah.
So, or 4-year, whatever. And it was like, I sell it for nothing, or I turn it into my new camper van, which I done, got written off through no fault of my own.
So when did the ULEZ thing kick in? What was it that you thought, you know what, I'm going all in here?
Because people are being charged £12.50 per day, okay, to enter the ULEZ zone, which hopefully we will cover later on. I was being charged £100 per day for my van. And
so your street, you told me this before, the street you live on is not ULEZ, but the street to get to it on both sides are ULEZ.
That's correct.
So you have to pass a ULEZ to get home.
That's correct.
So you're going to get scammed one way or another.
That is correct.
The thing, right? Why is it you can't get stolen your Range Rover? We've done a lot about this, about Range Rover theft. You get your Range Rover stolen, and you might be lucky if you see somebody in a day or two. But then when it comes to ULEZ vans, they're so keen on it. They're there in a heartbeat, and the public are the bad guys. So I feel like most of the time the police react or act in a way that they're working as an extension of TfL's bodyguards. That's what I would say. I don't think all cops are like that, but I think there's a lot that.
No, I'll say there's a couple of good ones, and I know there is, and I'm going to say this. There's a couple of good ones, and when you're watching this, you'll know I'm aiming at you. You're one of the good ones, and I realise now what John's asked me. So how did I get involved in this?
Yeah.
ULEZ stuff. So I'm at home, my friend.
That's it. Right, okay.
This is it, John.
Yeah.
This is it in a nutshell. My friend contacts me, friend I've known for many, many years, worked with for many, many years, trust him wholeheartedly.
So he's the guy with the Sprinter van.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. So he contacts me. He's gone, look what I've just done, with a photograph, and I'm like a WhatsApp message. I'm like, that's funny that's funny.
Yeah.
Right? And he's gone, yeah, I've just done this. Like, it's a ULEZ van, blah, 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 blah. And that's how we came up with, let's just block them with our vans. So it was literally the next day or the day after that, we went around blocking the ULEZ vans, which we are legally allowed to do. It is not illegal. We are allowed to do it. So if anybody in the comments or whatever wants to say that's illegal, it's not, because even the police admitted it. They know it's not illegal, but they're trying to test the waters.
Oh yeah. Well, it's illegal, isn't it, to block a speed camera van? Is that illegal? It might not be, you know.
It's actually not.
No.
The police will tell you that it is.
But it's not. I think you just can't interfere with the van itself
you
or the person.
You cannot interfere with the van or the operative.
Yeah, so you can't talk to them.
Right.
But you can park in front of them.
It is not illegal to block the van.
Yeah.
The police will try to convince you otherwise. It's not illegal. but you must not interfere with the van or the operative. And that's what we'll go on to, my bowel conditions.
Yeah, so what happened? So we're watching this video. Were there goons there on that day? The
security were there.
When it got paint thrown all over it by that bloke, I don't remember there being security goons there.
Yes, there was.
There was. So basically, what happened, Jason's filming. You can see it in the video. And you can... so funny. Because you can hear him narrating and laughing when this guy comes out of literally nowhere and covers the front of the van in white paint. Doesn't he?
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So then...
this was our first day. First day of bloody like protesting peacefully.
Yeah.
And we said to the security guy, listen, we're peacefully protesting. You know, we're not breaking the law.
Yeah.
We're just...
We're not going
to...
yeah, we're not going to cause...
The security guy was nice.
He seemed all right, actually,
he's not
to be
doing
fair.
it anymore.
Is he not?
No, he's not doing it anymore. The security guards now are on another level. They're
thugs.
Oh, they're thugs.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
They are proper goons, man. They are taken on to give us hell.
It's Capita, isn't it? That
and
hires...
Peregrine,
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, they're two very legitimate, nice companies, those guys. So I guarantee they'll probably be looking through who we are now that we've done this, that they've been mentioned. Horrible people that they hire. I wonder if those people that they hire have nice, clean records. Be interested to know. I've noticed two things where that seem to be a common thread. Their car, that they quite often drive.
John's beer is beautiful.
They quite often drive around, and they're using their phones, and nobody seems to be picking up on that. The other thing I see quite a lot is the fact that they're using their personal phones to film. Now, that's not illegal to film in a public place or anything.
GDPR rules are so grey, it's unbelievable.
If you're working for a company, isn't that different?
Right, so listen, whatever I'm going to say now, I really hope people can correct me, point me in the right direction, because I love to be educated. Educated means I can move on with whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
So GDPR, so they're filming us.
Yeah.
They must make that footage available so that we can request that footage, so to speak. But it's not. It's on their personal phones. They will delete it. They'll pass it on to their friends. Say, keep a copy of this.
Yeah.
I will now delete it off of my phone so that I am now no longer subject to GDPR and all that. And that's what happens. It's like a loophole, that they can pass it on to a friend.
The only thing is, a lot of the data is unless they can pass it on to a friend, but a video always has some data buried within it where it was taken, geolocation and all that. And it's not something that you can turn off now, because most phones, especially the Chinese ones, that isn't an option to turn off.
All of them.
Yeah, well, pretty much.
iPhone.
Yeah, I'm on a Pixel. Mine's the same. So, what happened is the paint thing happened. That day you weren't arrested, were you? In that video? Or was it?
No,
you were
fine. That was my first day.
Yeah,
that was a shock to the system. We couldn't believe what happened, man.
So that video is the one I saw. That's the first one I saw that was offered up on my channel, was that one. And I was like, oh, wow, people are really angry about this. Because it's not often you see somebody just come out and throw paint all over a vehicle. I hope it was gloss. Anyway.
I do not condone any sort of
Well, you can't.
painting of a van.
No, absolutely. We don't. In fact, I'll make a point of this. As much as we think it's funny, we don't condone any illegal activities and anything that would steal your liberty, because that's exactly what these people want.
Yes.
So, when were you arrested?
So, right. Right, so myself and my friend went and done a peaceful protest. Then myself and my friend went and done another peaceful protest. On the first day, this is when the van got painted.
Yeah.
So we're now doing a peaceful protest on the second day. On the second day, the police turned up. And my van and my friend's van were a foot away either side of the van, the ULEZ mobile camera van.
That's made in China.
We was a foot away either side, so
Ironic.
it could manoeuvre out if it needed to. So we wasn't blocking it.
Yeah.
It could get out if it had to. The police turned up on that day. So this is the second day. Police turned up, told us to move our vans. We refused.
Ah. Okay.
We walked away and we went, we are not breaking the law. You crack on. We watched from, took about 45 minutes. We watched everything unfolding at our vans with the ULEZ van, and we see that the ULEZ van was going back, forth, back, front, until it got out. It got out because we didn't block it in properly, right? And we didn't want to block it in properly because blocking it in, we would cause them to not be able to do their job.
Yeah.
We knew the distance we was at.
They could get out.
They could get out.
Yeah.
It's got out. As soon as it's got out, we've now walked back and we've had a conversation with the police. And the police are like, they've actually said to us, we do not know what the laws are, governing this, blah, blah, blah. They did not know because it's all being tested about the ULEZ protest stuff, because myself and my friend were the early people doing this.
Yeah.
We
you were one of the first.
Yeah, but we only do our stuff peacefully.
Yeah.
Our way.
Yeah.
By blocking the cameras.
Yeah.
Right? And so the police went. That's it. They went. They left us to it. We see in the Telegraph, have to name them. Sorry, it's true. Telegraph, other Mail. Oh, did I say Mail? Other newspapers that we were moved on by the police. Rubbish. We wasn't moved on at all. The police did not know what to do with us because the laws haven't been tested as far as ULEZ is concerned.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, it's a private company, actually.
So anyway, we're now going to do another protest on another day. My mate has said to me, I can't attend. I can't be with you that day. I've got to do some other stuff.
Yeah.
So he's gone off and done his stuff, and I've actually said to him, do you know what, mate? I bet you I have the best day ever.
Yeah. That's...
No! He will back me up on that. I
That's
said, I guarantee you, mate, I will have the best day ever, and you're going to be gutted that you weren't here. Well, no, I'm glad he weren't, because he would have been arrested as well. So on that day, I was in Crayford, and I was watching this really obnoxious security guard for Capita, which I have a video for, And he was just going on and on and on. And then, anyway, it's finished that day. Finished there. And then I've then driven because I've got notification that there's now a camera in a Arbuthnot Lane in Bexley Heath. So I've now driven that location. I've got to Bexley Heath. As soon as I've turned... Honestly, let me tell you now, this is how it is. Now, I would only expect this type of turnout for a major takedown of some serious criminals. So I've turned up to this location, I've backed in, I've parked up to block the ULEZ camera. Cops come running out of everywhere. That side street, they've come running out of absolutely everywhere. There was 4 cars, 9 cops.
Wow.
And then it was a plant. They've planned on getting me there. I know that for a fact.
So somebody in that group that notified you was a mole.
It seems that way, and we do a good job of eliminating stuff, and we get out. Right, on that particular day, I've got to say, if it wasn't for a friend recording, I would not have had the evidence of how I was arrested if it wasn't for him recording, because all my recordings and abilities to record was taken away from me. And it was only because of this guy's video. And then, do you know what? During my interview, do you want to hear this now?
Yeah, go for it.
So during my interview, I've been in the cell now for many hours. I've now been woken up, come out, your interview, blah, blah, blah. I've been asking for my solicitor in all this time, my solicitor. I've been asking for my solicitor, and I'm thinking, why is my solicitor not here? And then literally minutes before this situation, I got from some sort of person that's come to my cell and said, right, your solicitor hasn't been informed yet, but the duty solicitor...
So they've had you in all this time and they've not informed your solicitor despite the fact that you asked for it?
And I gave them the phone number, the everything to my solicitor.
Wow.
My solicitor was furious with me because it was like, why haven't you informed me? And so they had my solicitor's details, right? So basically, then they said, so your solicitor, your appointed solicitor that you want, hasn't been informed yet, but the duty solicitor will be here within a few minutes. What do you want? My fault, and I'll take that on the chin, because I know many of you watching this now will go, your fault.
Yeah.
Right, but I went,
But you've been in
I
there
want
for
a
hours.
duty solicitor. Right, because I just wanted out of there because I knew I'd done nothing wrong. Right, so duty solicitors come along, and anyway, things moved on. Turns out they won't release me because there's a protest going on outside.
No, this is quite funny, actually. I've heard this bit of the story before. Yeah, honestly, listeners, listen to this because it's classic. Typical. This is a typical British thing. Typical British. Go on, go for it.
So there's a protest going on outside the police station. Okay, so my name is Prisoners no longer accepted. That is my channel name. So there's a protest going on outside the police station. Let no prisoners out. Let no prisoners out. Let no prisoners out. Let no... So the police are thinking, right, okay, we won't.
You can't knock him for that. You can't knock him for that. They're like, oh no, we better not, because if we let anybody out, they're going to get the mob's going to have them.
So they would not let me out to this
until they went.
Right. So I got my interview.
Oh gosh, that's so
right.
funny.
But on the interview, John, honestly, now I've got to say, right, listen to this. On the interview, they said to me, a video whilst I was in the cells, a video started surfacing on TikTok, I believe.
Oh, right,
TikTok.
Okay.
And some sort of social media. I'm sure it was TikTok. But anyway. And it was showing that I am walking around filming the van, the ULEZ, the mobile ULEZ van. And whilst I'm filming it, there's this guy painting the van, doing some decorating.
Did a beautiful job.
So the police arrested me for criminal damage on that van, and whilst I was being interviewed, they said to me, "So what have you got to say about this video?" Right, because they have arrested me for committing the criminal damage on that van. And I just simply said to him, "Do you realise that that person walking around, blah, 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 put your ones and twos together, do you realise that that person is me and that person painting the van is not?" They looked, he turned the tablet around, because that's what they use now, not laptops, they use tablets. Oh, we're too posh. We use tablets. He's turned it around, he's gone, "Interview terminated at," checked his watch, interviewed, because he knew he had fucked up.
That's bad. That is bad, man. See, it's funny because I saw the video from another angle, and you're narrating as he's doing it. So I know there's no way you can be doing it, because you're talking, going, "Oh my gosh, look what we have! Oh, look at this guy."
Yeah, I know. I don't know what to say, mate. Honestly, seriously, it's that bad. But they are trying to hold some sort of charge over me. They've kept my micro SD card. So the story goes on, John. This bloody interview. This interview could be a lot longer, because there's so much more to it, mate.
Yeah, you go for it. You got all the time.
Honestly, man, I'm telling you now, they have screwed up, right?
Well,
they've screwed up.
So now they're going to make your life difficult.
They're trying to. They are. That's what they're trying to do. So they've had my gear confiscated for free. Wow, how long was it? Months.
Months and months.
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah.
Right. They then.
So they took your phone. They took your drone.
They took my phone. They took my DJI Mini 3 Pro drone. They took my DJI Pocket 2 camera. They took my body camera. But they not only took that, they took my microphones, my ND filters. They took all accessories, tripods. They took absolutely everything. And I'm like, why are you taking that? You listen, that does. And all they kept saying through the whole lot of it, whilst trying to fight to get it back, and I was ringing them every day, and I've recorded every single phone call as well.
Yeah.
So when we throw this out there might be a video in 6 months' time when I show people just how bad our police force is, right? They have, because it's all about control, and we're getting on to that, man, right? They have shown just how bad they are. They've kept everything of mine. They will not give it back.
I mean, why? I don't understand why they need your accessories.
They don't.
Like, why do they need your ND filter? Why couldn't they have just taken the devices, downloaded the data or the ND,
just taken the micro SD cards?
Yeah. That's what they needed.
No, it's about taking all of my equipment off of me, John.
So you can't do anything.
So I can't do anything,
so
man.
They're
disgusting.
What we've got to ask ourselves is, like, I know good cops. I know a lot of good cops, actually, that really do a good job, and I wouldn't want to do what they do. But, like, the other side to it is...
Cops and teachers.
Yeah, cops and teachers. My thing is...
NHS workers, yep. I'll throw that in there as well.
What I'm trying to get at is, what worries me about the police is we've got a major problem in London. We've got a major problem where I live, around here, with knife crime, with knives and all that kind of stuff.
Sadiq Khan is not prepared to tackle.
No, he's not. But he's happy to put the New Year's fireworks, the Mayor of London.
How much did that cost?
Yeah, he's happy to blow money on that, and he's happy to go around the whole of the country. Well, no, sorry, not the country. He loves going abroad, doesn't he?
Oh, we'll happily fly on his private jet. Or any sort of jet. I don't give a monkey's uncle whether it was
and he's there talking
a club
about...
class. He's still flying.
He's talking about... Do you know, I'd just like to say this as well. I'm not having a go at Khan because he's Labour. I'm not having a go that... if he was Conservative, I'd still be having a go. When there's somebody in power that is inept in what they're doing and isn't doing things for the people that they claim to be doing, then we should be holding them accountable regardless of who they are or what party they stand for. They should be working for the people. And ultimately he was there interviewing, saying how wonderful the fireworks were, what a good show he put on, while some poor kid bled out to death in a park of knife crime, and he didn't even have the balls to answer the question.
Not answer knife crime questions. Susan Hall...
It's so sad.
Susan Hall challenges him every single time about knife crime, about all sorts of stuff, right? And this is how the man responds.
Yep. He just doesn't say anything, does he? Why is everyone voting this clown in? That's what I want to know.
A few comments earlier on that people, like in the Dartford area, are not eligible to vote. Now, please don't quote me on this, right? I'm going to check this out, but I'm certain this is the truth. They're not eligible to vote, yet ULEZ is in their area.
Wow.
That's how bad it is. The man is despicable, right? I would like anybody in your comments, right? Because one of my things I want to do is go around asking people in different constituencies, Labour, Conservative, Liberals, if I can find a Liberal constituency, right? But
Green Party, even.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? I know some Greens. And
I'm not prepared to go any more than half a mile from my home.
I want to do a really thorough investigation.
Yeah, I want to do a really thorough. Yeah, man, brilliant. Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah. I want to do it's mainly between we know where the Liberals are going with this, but it's mainly between Labour, Conservatives. I want to go into the different I live in a Labour constituency.
So do I, yeah. Oh, no, I don't. I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
I've moved out.
I do not know. I've spoken to hundreds over the period of doing my vans over the last 4 or 5 years. I've spoken to so many people, and I really, because of the type of person I am, I try and bring up the conversation about Khan, ULEZ, and not one has supported him. So how is that man in power?
You
don't have the answer, John.
No, I don't. I don't think so. I mean, but I think when it goes back to ULEZ and motors and motoring, if we take it all the way back to the basics of it, just have a moment of some basic facts. So let's imagine it from, you genuinely are trying to clean up air pollution. So the biggest problem is diesel cars in the UK.
That we was being sold massively by the government,
because
by diesel. At the time of my business, I was buying 2 or 3 diesel vans, blah, blah.
Or me as well.
Right, yep.
And the reason was that in their minds, because, do you know what? I remember sitting in a car show, and it was at the NEC, and they had a transport minister there, and they were talking about emissions, and they were questioning him, and they said to him, you know, this is very hard what you're asking. And he's like, well, it's simple. You just turn the screw down or up, depending on your emissions. We're like, we haven't had screws in carburetors and injection systems for like
we
the
don't
last
have
20
carburetors,
years.
man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like he was utterly clueless. And what had happened is that diesels don't put out a lot of CO2, but they put out NOx, which is really bad for you, and they also put out a lot of particulate matter, which is also not great, but it is just lumps of carbons. But in the countryside, a bit of that, it's not going to really make any difference. When you have
there's so much combating it.
Yeah.
That people do not understand the amount of green matter in London.
Yeah, but what I will say is, if you've got lots of diesels in very slow traffic on a very hot day with very, very low amounts, you've only got to go.
Thank you, Just Stop Oil.
Yeah, and then you run your finger across window sills or you put your washing out, you will see that there's a lot of soot. And that ain't good for you.
Thank you, Just Stop Oil, for creating that. We love just sitting in traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Doing nothing with our engines idling.
Yeah.
Sat behind you. Anyway, sorry, moving on.
No, it reminds me of the guy from, we used to call it Thinsulate Britain, because he couldn't say insulate. So, oh yeah, mate, yeah, Thinsulate Britain. Yeah, oh gosh, and that woman that, oh my God, like, who on earth put her forward to be the spokesperson? She literally, oh, this is not a safe space, I'm very triggered. I'm like, you are literally the epitome of the silent majority do not like you. Why would you put that person forward? At least the other guy was a bit more personable, although he could talk properly. But
you gotta love Greta.
Oh, Greta. Oh,
you gotta love Greta. Come on, man. Let's talk about Greta.
Hey, let's talk about Greta a second, right? So, right, my daughter.
Can we have a piss break in a minute?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. So what?
No,
happened?
seriously, I'll fucking mean it.
Yeah, well, we can. So Greta, right? She is banded around at my daughter's school like a superhero, right?
Disgusting.
And my daughter does this beautiful thing for school about like extra homework about how wonderful Greta is. So I said, honey, let me just show you something else that they haven't told you and tell me what you think.
Yeah.
And I showed her the car, the Tesla, with all the rubbish in, that was all the plastic everywhere and all
And
the
you've
other
got to
crap.
show them the mining camps.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, saying that, I've got
to
a bit more.
produce our EV batteries.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of our EV friends, electric vehicle friends, for those of you that don't understand
Evangelists.
I'm not insulting you, but seriously, if we're sort of like talking slang, EV, electric vehicles, the way your battery and do you know so many? So I worked on a contract for over a year in Hammersmith in London. And you know, all I saw, and it was the first time I saw these vehicles, the Tesla vehicles where the doors went up.
Yeah, the Model X.
Right? That was the first time I ever saw them. But Hammersmith is full of them. And I actually got into a conversation with a couple of the owners. And I would tell them about, do you know where your batteries, the cobalt, they had no idea.
No.
These batteries just magically appear.
The only thing is, I would say about this, is you've got to also take into account that these cobalt mines have been around for a while, but even before EVs, because we use cobalt in the refinery process of oil and diesel. And those mines were just as bad then, but the problem is they're bigger now.
A lot bigger.
So I'm not saying that oil is like the answer.
Do you see what this guy's done? He is devil's advocate, and I love that.
Well, that's.
I love that.
I'm just saying what I know.
No, that's beautiful. What you've just come up with there, John, is just like people have to respect you for the fact that you've just come up with that argument that you've put me right.
Yeah.
Right, and yeah, I get that, man. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
And we need to accept it. We need to accept that okay. Yeah, I take that on the chin.
Yeah.
Right, and so yeah.
What I would say is about electric cars is well, let's quickly go back to Greta because I never finished my point. Greta, I showed Casey the messy car. I also showed her the behaviour that she is when she's interviewed by people that she doesn't like, and then on top of that, I said, do you realise the story of Greta isn't entirely true? Because she was already in a school where she didn't have to go in every day. She could go in when she wanted to. And actually, she forced, through her political power, which was basically anchored by some strong people in high places, to basically remove kids from their education to protest for something they didn't really understand that sounds really, really good. That's basically what she did. And I said, the problem is, Casey, what you've got to remember, the best lies are half-truths. So some of what she says is true, 100%. But a lot of what she says is not true. And what she isn't true. And now she's an adult, she's a bit of a running joke, unfortunately. And that poor kid, I actually feel a bit sorry for her. Because if that was my daughter, one, I wouldn't have let them band her around like that. But two, she is going to suffer.
Parents have a lot to answer
they do.
I'm afraid.
Would you do that to your kids?
Listen, let me tell you now, if that was my daughter like that, you've either got to believe in her or you've got to tell her to wind her neck in because this is how it's going to end. And that's how it's ended.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's got to that stage now where she's now developed far more enemies than foes.
Yeah.
Like, she's developed a lot of foes, man. Right? So I wouldn't want my kids doing that. I will back them 100% in their beliefs and stuff, but
Yeah, sad,
sometimes you need to also tell them, wind your neck in a little bit. And I haven't actually seen any showing her parents, have you?
No, very little.
Wow, why haven't we seen that? Who are?
I mean, I know they're in
parents?
the scene, but I couldn't tell you who they are. I don't know anything about them. I feel sorry for her. I just think when you know what, right? I'm busting for a wee as well now.
So am I.
We'll go for a part 2 shortly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what,
this
we
might
will
be
do.
This might be a release of 1 and 2 parts.
I'm going to hold his, he's going to hold mine. We're going to wee-wees and we'll come back and we'll let you know how it all went.
Absolutely.
All right, guys?
We'll be back shortly, you big saucy devils.